All right, so I wanted to make a video to kind of like a previous Bianca. Um, the reason why I think this will be valuable is because people will come across my content at different stages of their journey. And I can speak to that. I can speak to a lot of different parts of the process. From the denial, I don't have an issue and I'm kind of in love with my chaos and dysfunction, or the people that are abusive to me and I'm abusive to them or whatever, to like, maybe I need to change, I don't know, to the process of actively changing but just not knowing how to stop being dysfunctional, not knowing how to truly be healthy. Then the next phase is like I'm becoming healthy, I'm walking in that healthier season, reasoning, etc., but still using dysfunctional strategies as beneficial for me, right? So what someone recently did to me is do the whole cut me out of their life because I wasn't, we weren't seeing eye to eye. And they chose to do that instead of saying, hey, I would like to process something with you, I'm uncomfortable with this, right? And so naturally I reacted fleshly. I reacted with frustration and anger and like, whoa, like you're making this decision over something that I didn't do. I didn't act out, I didn't hurt you, I didn't say anything. And then later on in that conversation, this person revealed that they really just wanted to talk. It wasn't necessarily about cutting me out. It was just they felt like they had to do something drastic, right? And that's a prime example of this person had a right to advocate for themselves. They had a right to express a concern, absolutely. But the methodology of getting it addressed was to go as far as they possibly could to push me. And mind games like that works when you want to have unhealthy relationships. You can't be vulnerable, honest, transparent sometimes and play mind games, manipulate, play the victim other times and expect to get the same outcome. That is something I'm very, very, very familiar with because when I was really, really trying to be a healthier person and I realized, okay, I got some work to do, I was in a relationship. And the more I made strives to be healthier, the more I would be dysfunctional, because I would set these expectations that I just really wasn't capable of living up to at that particular moment. I really wasn't able to maintain those boundaries, that level of accountability. I was 2 months into a lifestyle and trying to be the expert on it and, kind of like pointing out the flaws in other people. But I hadn't done it long enough to bear much truth to it. You feel me? And that's another thing that happens is once you start to make a change, you want to fix everybody around you. You want to say, hey, you could work on this and hey, you could work on that and we could all work on it together. But, frequency is real. And just because you begin to vibrate higher doesn't mean you can force someone else to speed up their vibration. That's the opposite of the effects you really want to have. Ideally, you motivate and inspire people by what you're doing, not by directly telling them, hey, it's time for you to work on yourself. That's what I try to do in my relationship. And instead of us vibrating higher together, we got a lot of static, a lot of, chaos. That's exactly what it leads to. So if you're at that point of like, what, I'm learning to do things better, I'm enjoying how it makes me feel, enjoy it for you. Enjoy it for you. Do it for you. Teach people who ask you questions. Teach people who are open to being taught, but don't force it down people's throats. That will get you cut out of a lot of folks' lives. That will get you rejected. That will create a lot of resentment. And I have been doing that a lot of my life. I reflect back to when I joined World Ventures. I actually have on my dog tag today. And I was obsessed with this organization. I just thought it would be my breakthrough. I just knew that I would get, financial freedom from World Ventures, and then I could start a journey full of health as a business, right? And I wanted to get everybody I loved into World Ventures. And I found that people weren't taking it as seriously as me. They weren't performing as highly as I wanted them to. And my mom got frustrated with me. And she was like, Bianca, every time you do something new, you want everybody else to follow behind you. You want everybody else to get on board. And although the way it came out, it hurt me, but that was true. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You see, I had genuine intentions, and I felt like if I'm growing, I want to take everybody I love with me. If this is going to be a breakthrough opportunity, I want everybody I care about to have access to it. But that's not honoring where they're at. If you have to force it, if you have to make people uncomfortable when they're not welcoming that discomfort, it's not time. It's not their season. And in some ways, it's you avoiding focusing on yourself. You know, it's you only getting so far and feeling good and thinking, you know what, I'm going to go pull this person along and that person along, instead of you continuing to break through. You know, it's not enough to just feel good and be on the high of it. Break through. Reach that breakthrough and they'll come. They'll come. Who's meant to come with you will come. And guess what? Although you had to release some loved ones and leave them where they were, they will be replaced in abundance with people that fully align with you and are fully on the same frequency. But as long as you hold on and you pull and you pull and you pull, you're going to be very frustrated, and you're going to find yourself going backwards. You're going to find yourself being depleted because you're not honoring your process. You know, at certain points, you can't teach someone something that you haven't experienced for yourself. That's why I took a while to start coaching. When I got out of treatment for my eating disorder, people wanted me to coach them. When I moved back to Cleveland, people wanted me to coach them. And I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm baking, but I'm ready now. You know, yes, there are other barriers for me to break through, but I'm ready enough to coach people through the beginning stages of the journey. To the season of manifestation. And I know my seasons of manifestations, there are more and more and more that come, but I can help them through the beginning process. I can help them solidify solid changes. And as I grow within my business and continue to grow within my personal life, yeah, I can help people break through even higher levels, even higher barriers for themselves. But I'm not going to try to do that right now. That's not the market I'm focused on right now, because I'm not there, and I respect that. But just sometimes when it's your season to focus on you and figure you out, you'll know that. And you'll know it because people won't try to align with you. People won't listen to you. People will be resistant with what you have to say because it's like you have no proof. You have no proof. You have no results yet. And that's okay. That's okay. At that stage, I was just proving it to myself. And I was proving it to myself so hard that I wanted my ex to be like, you know what, babe? I love you, and I give you permission to continue to evolve. I give you permission to become whoever you are becoming. I wanted that before I fully tapped into it. So I got 50% to being her, and it felt good enough. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get you 50% to being him so we can reach the 75% mark together and get 100% there together. And that's not what worked. The universe, God, source pulled us apart. And now I'm however percentage her and he's however percentage him, and we can, you know, get along and stuff like that. But we couldn't do that together. We couldn't do it on my terms. We couldn't do it in my time. In fact, I believe that a lot of times who I become empowers who he's becoming. You feel me? But I couldn't tap into it up under him. I couldn't, because I needed that validation and I needed the comfort he offered. And sometimes the comfort of your loved ones that you want to come with you will hinder you from really thriving. Sometimes it's just being out in this world or within your spirit alone that you reach those revelations. And if you had those safe spaces or those safe people around you, you wouldn't do it. You would hang out with them. You would talk to them instead of seeking God, the universe, source, whatever, or digging deep within yourself. You would seek outward opinions and feedback, etc., which is why you want these other people's validations and permission to be who you are. Right? If someone cannot challenge you and disagree with the core of who you are, you're too weak in that identity. And if you're too weak in that identity to be challenged, you're too weak to teach. Truly teach. You know, because we have, our community is full of people that shoulda, coulda, woulda, maybes, right? And we're tired of that. People are tired of that. People want to see, you know, how are you spiritually full? How are you healthy? How are you mentally healed? You know what I'm saying? How? Show me that, and then I might come around. But that's all about your aura, and that doesn't need to be explained. I just left this event, and y'all might not know, but like, I'm pretty shy in person. And people just receive me. You know, I spoke but I hung around for a little bit up in the cut because I'm me. And people just received my vibe. I didn't have to say, hey, you should do this, you should do that. No, they came pouring things out like, hey, this is what I want to work on. You feel me? This is what I feel like aligns with you. It was just through my natural conversation that we connected, and we're on the vibration that I wanted to pour into people that weren't quite open to it, that I needed to help to grow them with. These people were reaching for that because it's me now. It's truly, truly me. It's not me forcing. It's not me proving it to myself. It's not me proving it to them. It is what it is. And yes, later on down the line, we might reach a sticky situation. I could say, well, I pull this feedback, I pull this insight from this process, right? From this experience, from this knowledge, whatever. But that's authentic, right? So when you're ready to build people, when you're ready to be that model, you will be a real model and you will be living it. And it will be more so like, how you doing that? Or people will be open to your feedback just because they see how you moving. So you won't have to just spoon feed people anymore. You won't have to force feed people anymore. They'll access you for it because they can see you as a resource. Right? That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to give is don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to continue growing until you have reached a certain level of fruition. Don't be afraid when you're in the process of, am I really becoming this? Yes, you are becoming that fruit. Yes, you are. You are. But you got to stay in the oven a little longer, you know? You got to stay in the oven before you pop out and you're claiming this whole identity and you're trying to force feed people this stuff, because that's what a lot of hypocrites do, is they don't take a lot of time, enough time to invest into themselves for it to be truly who they are. And even still, you know, some people who have invested that time and have manifested fall victim to being a hypocrite because they don't continue those practices. They got comfortable. I'm a complete hypocrite. Completely. I can. So can someone so much more advanced than me. We're always susceptible to it, right? But even more so when you're in the beginning stages of your transition into your healthiest self, the healthiest, best self you've been yet. For the first time you embarking on that process, give it some time. Give it some time. And there were people that come in and grow with you, but that's a period where you're kind of alone a lot. And you're more so being invested in by others. But don't force nobody to catch up. Don't. They never do. It never. Listen, I've had so much heartbreak when trying to force people along and drag people along, and it hurts them more than it helps them, and it hurts me more than it helps me, you know, because I'm literally trying to pour myself into a closed pitcher and I'm just all over the table, all over the floor, you know, spilled out. I hope this helps somebody. This really comes from a loving place, although it might make you very uncomfortable, but I just am more and more willing to push y'all to this point and say things that you probably don't have anybody else telling you, because these are the periods that, you know, you could be transforming for 3 to 4 months, or you could stretch it out to 2 years because you're trying to drag your whole family along and you going through the heartache of that stuff, and that, you know, triggers you to revert backwards and Let's skip that. Let's get straight to the money with it. You feel me? All right, be encouraged.